Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Sunny. Today I'm building a custom hardwood chessboard gate box inspired by two great creators. One is Wood You Make It and the other one is the One-Handed Woodmaker, who pushed me to get started on today's project. Let's build this chessboard gate box together. Hope you enjoy it.
For this chessboard project, I selected two species of hardwood, mahogany and white maple. The mahogany plank was fairly flat, but the white maple was slightly warped. To flatten it, I used my planer. First, I rested the board on a straight piece of plywood and shimmed it to keep it sturdy while running it through the planer. Once it was flat, I removed it from the plywood, flipped it over, and planed the opposite side. I repeated the process until both faces were flat and smooth. After flattening was complete, I was satisfied with the finish. I moved over to the table saw. I cut both species into 2-inch strips, which I will later glue up and cut into squares for the chessboard pattern. Before cutting the strips, I squared the planks. I placed a straight piece of lumber upright against the fence to guide the board and ensure a clean, straight edge. Once one side was straight, I cut the opposite side to make sure all the planks were perfectly square. To make consistent 2-inch strips, I use a scrap piece of plywood cut exactly to 2 inch as a spacer, and I place it between the fence and the blade to keep everything precise. Then I proceeded to cut species into uniform 2-inch strips. Unfortunately, my rigid table saw broke down on me, and I had only owned it for a few months. It was still under warranty, so Home Depot had to order a replacement. I ended up waiting 6 to 7 weeks. Once the new saw arrived, I put everything back together so I could finally resume working on the chessboard project. Once all the strips were cut, I brought them over to the bar clamps for glue up. Using some scrap lumber, I applied both vertical and horizontal clamping pressure to keep the strips flat, tight and aligned. This also helps prevent warping during the glue up. After the glue dried, I ran the panel through the planer again for a smooth, even finish. As I mentioned earlier, the board at this point measured 16 inches by 12 inches. To make it square and complete the 8x8 pattern, I needed to add 2 more inch strip to one side. On camera, I realized I had already cut the 2-inch square for the second glue up. I got a little ahead of myself. Sorry about that, guys. I brought the strips over to the bar clamps and flipped every second strip to create a chessboard pattern, alternating light and dark square. I glued everything up and set up aside to dry. You might notice that at this stage there are 6 strips. Each strip consists of 8 squares. Because my planer can only handle boards up to 13 inches wide, I couldn't glue up the full 8x8 board all at once. So I plan to add 2 more strips later to complete the full 8x8 layout, bringing it to 16 inches wide. I also scraped off the excess glue using a wooden chisel to clean up the surface before the next step. While waiting for the second glue up to dry, I started on the game box. It will consist of 2 compartments, one for each player. Here you can see me flattening the boards and preparing for cutting and later making the mitered corner cuts. Using the planks I previously flattened, I started figuring out the box dimensions. The height of the box, the top frame around the chessboard, and the overall layout. The 5-inch pieces will be the height of the box, and the 3-inch pieces will be part of the box top. I began cutting the mitered corners for the box so I could dry fit everything later and make sure the joints line up properly. Here you can see me dry fitting the box top using painter's tape to hold everything together. Just so you know, this is my first time building this type of project. A chessboard game box with a table style base, so I'm learning as I go. In between stages I started working on the 2 drawers. I cut the drawer pieces and made grooves to slide the plywood base into place. I glued them up and set them aside to dry. Here is the game box with a partial top frame cut along the sides of the chessboard. I still needed 4 more strips to complete the top frame. At this stage, everything was still dry fitted. Once all 4 mitered corners were tight and aligned, and the opening for the sliding drawers was properly cut, I move on to the final glue up. After the drawer compartment glued up dried, I cut plywood panel the same size as the game board. This raises the chessboard about 1/8 of an inch above the trim, giving it a nice finished look. The top frame pieces were cut to size and the mitered corners were looking good. I disassembled everything and glued up the 4 sides of the top frame separately. I used clamps to keep the joint tight and some scraps lumber to keep everything flat during the glue up. Since I don't have a drum sander, I use a belt sander to smooth out the game board surface. I secure the board with 2 clamps so it wouldn't move around while sanding. I made sure the top surface, the part that will be visible when sitting on the table, had the cleanest, smoothest finish possible. Here I'm sanding the 4 edges of the game board and adding a slight chamfer or rounded edge depending on the preference. To strengthen the mitered corners on the top frame, I use a biscuit joiner. This helps keep the corners aligned and tight during glue up. I also use additional clamps to make sure the top stayed aligned and didn't shift side to side. Once the glued up dried, I remove all the clamps. I notice a small gap along the bottom edge of the top frame. So I install a trim along all 4 sides to give it a cleaner, more finished look. I also added trim to the bottom of the game box. It slightly overlaps the base, so when the board sits on the table I previously built, you have a chance you can see my previous video where I built the table. So the table I previously built, it won't slide around. Off camera I sanded the finished box. There was still a little minor sanding left to do since the weather was getting very cold and in my garage, which is also my workshop, is not heated. I brought the project indoors to finish it. With all sanding completed, I applied the first coat of polyurethane for the initial varnish layer. After 24 hours of drying time, I lightly sanded the entire game box, vacuuming off all the dust. And applied a second coat of varnish spray. I also sprayed varnish on the drawer faces and handle to give everything a consistent finish. Here I am showing completed chessboard game box placed on the table I previously built. The drawers are filled with game pieces and everything is fully assembled and finished. Conclusion: this project tested my patience. From warped board to a broken table saw, but in the end it all came together, and that's what woodworking is about. Keep building, keep learning, and never quit.